Bri.
Hey.
So you like the Truly, huh?
No. No, not particularly at all.
I don't
actually.
mind any of those things.
It's one of those things where it's like, you know what, if I'm going to have a few drinks tonight, I'll go on the refreshing end, especially when they're like lightly flavored. But let's talk about something else.
No, I was just
No,
laughing
I know.
I got a couple things I want to talk about.
Okay.
I want to go over a couple of things that happened when I took my mom and my aunt on vacation. But where I really want to start is
it's a trigger for me.
Yeah, I know. I want to start Jack's Candy Store. Okay, we talked about Jack's Candy Store before. It was a little place where we grew up. There was a little store right across from the school, the grammar school that I went to and Brian went to for a little while. But specifically, that candy store, or like almost like a little kind of newspaper candy shop where you can get drinks. It wasn't a deli. It was just more like literally candy and newspapers.
And it was on the corner, which the door was right on the actual corner.
Actually, it was, yes, like old school. Actually,
yeah.
like a lot
so
of
did
places
the
in
opposite,
London, like the pubs in London and
yeah,
stuff.
and you'll have that whatever. And the opposite side of it was Huckleberry Corner, wasn't it? There was another corner stop right at the train station.
That's correct. In our little town,
Very little
1
town.
square mile town. Our town was actually 1 square mile. That's what
know.
they used to say. But I'm specifically talking about Jack's because when we grew up, this week Hulk Hogan passed away.
Right, and this is East Rockaway.
And this is East Rockaway, Long Island.
Right.
So it's like a small little incorporated village. How they do in the island is a totally different political thing, but whatever it is.
And where it was Center Avenue and Atlantic Avenue, right there on the corner.
Right across from St. Raymond's Church and St. Raymond's School and an apartment complex.
That's where Jack's was.
That's where Jack's was, a long time ago.
And Jack, you remember Jack?
I remember Jack, and I remember our family friend Hap and his wife both worked there.
Yeah. Wasn't B, was it?
As old,
Dot.
No, Dot. As old Dorothy, but they called her Dot. Hap and Dot. That was their names forever. And they would watch us because a lot of my friends, I hate to say this, a lot of my friends would like steal candy and gum and stuff like that. And
I stole from Jack's all the time.
I never stole anything from Jack's, but
Tons.
they knew. They knew. Hap and Dot knew. They never ratted people out, but they watched them. They said, that kid steals.
I never stole with Hap or Dot in there.
Yeah,
ever.
I know. But
I stole as a teen.
I never
cartons
stole
of
anything.
cigarettes.
I never stole anything. Nothing.
Okay, yeah.
Not from them anyway.
Yeah.
But my thing was, Hulk Hogan passed away this week. I had no exposure to wrestling, really, other than, like, the reason why I talk about Jack's Candy Store is because Hulk Hogan would be on the magazines that were in the magazine section of the candy store in a little rack, and you would see, like, these bloody matches with all these older guys, Dusty Rhodes and Hulk Hogan and some of the other ones, and Andre the Giant, but I never was exposed to any of that. The only wrestling that I saw was on Cablevision, and it was on Saturdays, about noontime, whatever, and it was called GCW, Georgia Championship Wrestling, and I think it was like a Turner Network, and Ric Flair was in that, and I do remember Ric Flair, but that was the only little wrestling I saw. It wasn't as glamorous as like the WWF at the time or whatever, the big wrestling federations that,
that was early.
They were playing for.
You're talking about probably 1980, 1981, right?
So I was like 12 years old.
Here's a question for you. In my memory, I don't know why I have this memory, that you saw the Superfly Snooker wrestle in Limbrook.
I absolutely did.
Okay. So then how the hell did that? So that must have happened at the end of his career.
I didn't know who, exactly. I didn't know who the hell these people were.
Well, how old? You must have been young.
He was older.
Well, how old were you?
I was young. I was taken there with a friend. And I probably was like maybe I was 13.
So no, it wasn't at the end of his career.
It wasn't?
No. When you were 13, he was
14?
still rocking it, didn't he? After that, didn't he go to the WWE or WWF?
I think it was after.
After that, he moved up.
I think he was up and moved down, and then like WWE brought everybody back or something.
Well, I watched you didn't watch the documentary with Vince McMahon, and I didn't even watch all of it, but I was watching some of it, a docu-series, before they ended up stopping it because he was getting accused of other shit and he walked away from it.
Right.
But it was very interesting to see like how he moved up and how he, like, who you were watching, the Georgia, like Turner, he was competing against Turner and winning and stealing all of Turner's top talent.
Oh, yeah.
So he did that, and it was mostly like McMahon winning, and it wasn't like back and forth. It was McMahon pretty much dominating.
Oh, yeah.
And dominating and dominating.
Absolutely, he was.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm trying to say is I never really knew. I never got into the wrestling thing because I didn't know all these other stars that were national brands. The only thing I ever saw on TV was this regional Georgia wrestling group that I would see on TV. But I do remember there was one family. It was Ray and Marianne's family. All the kids, they were all so into wrestling and knew everybody. They would go to all the wrestling matches because we being from a major metropolitan area, we could get to anything. They always had matches at Madison Square Garden or even the Nassau Coliseum, or in Jersey they'd have places to wrestle.
Yeah.
Also, Connecticut was right over the waterway to go see.
If you were doing well, you were in New York, and if not, you might have been on the outside.
But they were so into the wrestling before it was WWE.
But I never saw any of that with you, and I know I watched the WWF with them because I went and watched and saw my first pay-per-view because they got pay-per-view.
Exactly. We just happened to be over there and they're watching WWE.
Well, not happened to be. There was a trip or whatever it was. I remember it being like, oh, wow, they're getting it and we're going over. At least that's how I remember
Yes, it was. But what I'm saying is that it was a party that they were having.
Oh yeah, it was
because
an event.
of a wrestling event. All the kids were watching.
Yes,
And they just
and
invited.
it was 3. I want to say it was the third one. So I never. Point being is you were watching this Georgia shit, and we were not doing that together as brother. Yeah, because I did not.
I just
know
wasn't
that
sure if you
even
knew
watch.
about it.
No, I didn't watch any of that shit. Or if I did, I didn't care enough to remember much. I don't know why I got into the WWF. It was probably because of Little Ray.
Right.
You know,
Little
like
Ray.
Yeah.
And Big Ray.
Big Ray. Yeah. Big Ray.
Big Ray.
Because Big
and
Ray
Damien
liked it.
And
Yeah.
Michael.
Damien, all of them.
And they would literally going to their house. People who are into wrestling, I'm just going to say it, going to their house, they expected you to wrestle them. They were like reenacting things and throwing stuff around.
They were kind of nuts.
Wild.
You were really into wrestling too, by the way. As an adult, I remember that. Like when I first moved down here.
Okay.
You liked watching.
Oh, I liked watching.
You did.
I liked watch. You know what I liked watching? I liked watching the fact that Hulk Hogan turned into a bad guy.
Yeah.
Little did I know, 10 years ago, he got
into
banned because he really was kind of a terrible guy.
Which I didn't even know either. A lot of people like fuck Hulk Hogan, and I'm like, oh really? Because I just didn't know.
He said a lot of stuff that was really terrible, and then he tried to apologize for it in a closed door session with other wrestlers, and they turned on him because he really didn't apologize. He just said, "Don't get caught." So it was kind of a weird thing going on with Hulk Hogan. But I'm only bringing it up because I remember in my youth, like I missed that whole. Even though I was in the kind of area where it was very, very popular. Being from the Northeast, I didn't see it. And I also skipped it because I was just watching whatever was on TV, and that stuff wasn't on TV it was available to me. I never really saw any wrestling matches like now. It's on TV twice a week. And 3 times a week.
So you didn't. That's right. So I didn't watch this with you. So for me, my memory was watching it on, and I don't know if it really was on Saturday mornings, but it was watching Mean Gene, right? Like his watching these full on, now looking back going like, oh wow, these guys were just they were like, all right, it's time for you to go in and talk shit. Like, and as a kid, you know, I'm 8, 9, 10, and I was totally in on it. Like,
and I didn't know where to watch it, I guess, because I was watching
watched it at
karate
home.
movies, and I was watching a little bit of this Georgia Championship shit, and maybe I was watching more sports. You know,
at that time, I don't know how the fuck old you were with me.
I'm 3 years older than you,
I know.
So I must have missed it. Whatever I was doing or the group of friends I was with at the time wasn't into that.
Yeah, and I don't remember I didn't have a lot of friends, but I mean,
Tommy,
remember,
was he into wrestling at all?
No, and at that time,
that.
I wasn't really into wrestling. I want to say it was that sweet spot of from 11 to 13, and maybe I did care a little bit about wrestling because it was like, oh, there's a WrestleMania, but it wasn't I wasn't waking up on Saturday mornings going, who we're gonna watch.
I know what it was.
Macho Man, I was a big fan of. You know, it was fun that he had a hot girl.
Yeah, I was 13 and I went to all boys Catholic high school, and so from 13 to 16. I was just trying to meet with weak girls somewhere. I didn't know where. So I was just trying to, so other than watching, and they didn't give a shit about wrestling. So I was probably watching the early days of MTV or something, or just trying to figure out what was going on so I could be in the conversation, because the guys that I was hanging out with and the people in my school, a lot of them didn't watch wrestling.
Yeah, no, I don't think I really don't remember many people of my friends doing that either.
But now I'm listening. There's a show I listen to, and they're all adults, and they're talking about wrestling matches. And I know adults that still go to travel to see these big events, WrestleMania and these SummerSlams or whatever. And it's kind of like going to, for them, going to the Daytona 500, or going, they spend the big money to go to these events. And it's just wild, because if you think about it, some of the biggest movie stars out there right now are from the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
Hogan was one of those guys who crossed over. He had a few movies by himself, but Rocky really put him to say, okay.
Yeah, no, those movies were all really awful.
Oh,
Rocky,
yeah.
Even at the time, Rocky.
It's like a nanny movie, like Mr. Nanny or something.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of,
His wrestling got bigger after that, but yeah, that certainly did help.
Well, he got bigger with the TV show. When he had the reality, was it Hogan and his daughter and his son? They were all over Florida. And I know we have family that's in a town where a lot of wrestlers live down there near the Tampa area. A lot of them did. A lot of big names. And one of the people that used to go to the gym with them all the time was married to my cousin. And he just said all the time, he's like, there's a wrestler here, there's a wrestler there. I'm like, that's cool. He's like, yeah, man. And I'm like, all right, well, you're just going to show off how much you can lift compared to this guy? I mean, these guys are monsters, and they're huge. They're ex-football players. I couldn't relate. I was a skinny, scrawny kid. I just couldn't. Okay, I'm not into the gym. I'm not into whatever.
Yeah. No.
I was into boxing more than I was that. But that was just something I would think about, because I wasn't sure how you saw wrestling as a kid. I know that we lived in the same house, a little bit different. You're 3 years younger.
Very
different.
different.
Is a big
I just saw wrestling as interesting and fun, but I didn't really get into it that much, I guess. I mean, maybe I did at the time, but I can't really remember. I just know that WrestleMania was a big deal, and 3 was one that I was like, oh yeah, I remember hanging out at Ray's and going this is something.
Yeah, this is an event. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
but this is an event. So I think that was the first pay-per-view we probably got to see.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was. Yeah, but it was probably a good for me, my childhood, 3 years of really caring. I'd say that would be pretty significant. And since then, there's a nostalgia to it. So enough to affect me now still. If I see whatever I know his name was Mean Gene, the fact that I know his name.
Right.
I look at that picture of that guy and I go, oh man, he was fucking good. He was legitimately fun and really good reactive. There were really bad people that worked in that, when it says bad, bad acting.
Yo, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was of the upper of oh wow, whatever. He was like our dad wanted to be like an actor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He was probably 3 times as good as dad ever was at his best point.
Oh my God. I know he'll never
you know
listen
what I'm
to
talking
this.
about?
That's funny to say,
of course not,
because it would devastate him.
Yeah, no, but in the meantime, well, guess what? Mean Gene, he fucking rocked it, man.
I know.
He was a legend for a reason.
There's guys now that this is their. This is where I'm bringing this all around to. So Hogan, and all those guys at that time, Macho Man, and even pre him, Dusty Rhodes, and the beginning of the Undertaker, all these people that were around.
Right. A lot of which I don't know.
Now, you go on to ESPN on the weekend, you go on to these other TV shows, guest people come on. I couldn't tell you who these guys are. They're all current wrestlers. And I haven't watched in so freaking long. They're that's who. So who the heck is this guy?
Of course not. Why would you?
But Stone Cold. You know The Rock. You know John Cena.
Well, those people were 3 people out of, 50 iconic people in the span of a decade that we could recognize.
You're correct. So who is it now? Because there is a
we
guy
don't know
generationally who's there. And I know this,
Yeah.
and I know right now there's 3 or 4 that if you ask any single person who even remotely I don't know who they are.
Because
but
you're
it
past
remotely
the 10-year
passes through.
thing.
Yeah, remotely passes through. Because The Rock still goes back to bring the ratings in, but there are champions that are like, oh, he's been a 12-time champion. Or you're like, who, this guy looks like, I don't know, is he going to carry my refrigerator in for me, the house? Like, I don't know who this guy is or this other guy. You would think that commercials, The Rock, and see, you think you'd see him on more stuff. And I know I see, like, if you watch College Game Day, they have guest hosts all the time that are part of the wrestling world. And I couldn't recognize one from television, from anything else, and they're big deals, and they're gazillionaires now because, you know, it's a better way to make a living than the pathetic way that the old guys used to make money, and half of them died broke and poor.
Well, they're better agents.
Yeah.
That's it. As soon as somebody's doing really well, they have somebody behind them saying, "This is how much money you're making," and "fuck you." And the people, aren't able to fuck the little guy.
I know. Actually, I got invited to go on by the same guy I was saying who knows all the wrestlers and works out with them on a wrestling cruise. I was like, oh yeah, let me think about it. I had no desire to go on a cruise with all wrestlers to like, it was like I think it was out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale.
Well, of course it was.
It was like a weekend cruise out of Miami or a weekend cruise out of Fort Lauderdale with all the old timer veterans and some of the new guys. I mean, first of all, I would be like a shrimp. I feel like it gets stomped at any time. Second of all, you're on a boat with a lot of booze and alcohol. I don't be afraid to get thrown overboard by one of these guys. If you bumped into him or looked at him the wrong way.
A lot of fucking testosterone, a lot of steroids from people who are, people take steroids and let's face it, they make you aggressive.
I know. Sometimes I think I need to take a little bit just to kind of counterbalance what I am already right now, because I'm such a calm guy.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I just mentioned Booze Cruise with the things. I just got back from going away with my mom and my aunt, with our mom.
Do we need to talk about this?
No, I'm just going to say, I know, this is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk about anything stories-wise, just to say this. Patience, you said, I need to have patience.
Well,
I need to learn
does.
how to have patience or whatever. Yeah. I am really realizing that I think I'm going to turn that way eventually, so I have to learn how to be a little bit more patient. But generationally, it's so hard. And now, I'm looking at my kids the same way they're looking at me, saying, I could tell they don't have patience for me. So at some point...
Yeah, it's all really happening, like, honestly...
Quick.
This, every time that you're tested, it's actually, if you try to look at it in the really good universal way, it's happening for you, not to you. It's happening for you. This is a learning. Everything is supposed to be a learning experience that is presented for your benefit. And if you take that and you bring it to a place where at the end of it, you're not happy with where you went and you feel like you need to work on it, then the next time it presents itself to you, take it as the gift that it is, which is a teaching moment.
Okay. All right, Zen Master.
Guess what? That's the way I really truly believe it is. Okay. Should be. But right. I'm trying to go there. Okay. Anyway.
So where's the spiritual line in avoidance? When you're just trying to avoid that whole thing, you're like, oh, go back there and test yourself.
I'm not ready.
Avoid the situations at all costs.
Dude, I'm not ready, and I'm not trying to put myself in that situation that you put yourself in, because I wouldn't go on vacation with her for that reason, because it's so traumatizing, because we've been around like how do you not get this is how do you not respect this point of view? Anyway. Sorry.
I can't. No.
I don't even know where to go.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
That's where the trigger comes in.
That's where the trigger, it's like you start to get like a little twitch.
Wait, because I just had I'm flashing back to a conversation I'm having with my mother
3 days ago.
3 days ago.
Friday.
How do you not, because you said this, you can't say that because it means this. You understand that, right?
It means the exact opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah, oh, no, but, no, there's not no. Just, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to fucking say the wrong thing because of what you've heard before. You don't have to defend yourself endlessly.
I am at the point now in my life. I have been an angry person. And I know my one of my best friends growing up used to call you an angry youth, but that's besides the point. My buddy Billy.
He said I was the angry young man from Billy, angry youth. Yes,
he called you angry. He's like, hey, angry youth, and you would just get angry. Because you'd be like, why you call me angry? And he just got you every time. He was
and
he's smiling, he's laughing at it, and he growl. With a smile, he'd growl. If you didn't know Billy and
you
nobody
should
does
fucking reach out to Billy.
I got to reach out to Billy. It's been a while, and
it's okay that it's been a
Billy.
while.
I know. I'm gonna reach out to him. I get it on a thing called Facebook, and I'll find him 1, 2, 3.
You want me to reach out?
You can reach out for me. Yeah, I have no problem with that. But I do know that I am now at the point in my life where I used to, because I'm driving all over. I'm all over the country, but even locally, I'm at the point where now I put my blinders on now, and people cut me off and people whatever, and I used to like pull up and try, I'm going to go, and I'm like, nope, not going to do that anymore. And that's a while I haven't done that, but I won't even like wave and smile. I used to just wave and smile.
Because you would antagonize them. That was a very obviously passive aggressive. And so that's just as fucking toxic. Because I wasn't doing anything,
it's just as bad.
Right.
It's just as bad. So, especially since I have to go to court tomorrow for a thing.
Right.
So,
which is another thing what kind of scares you and go like, this is a good reason why to not.
Right. Because I just said, hey, your brights are on. And usually I'm an asshole, but I wasn't this time.
It's weird.
Somebody
you weren't
just
an
decided
asshole
to get. I wasn't. This time I wasn't. And this time. So I just don't. I'm not going to engage in with any strangers anymore because I pulled up to a gas pump to avoid him and, just said, okay, this guy's going to go away because he's a maniac. He slammed on his brakes. He's like, what are you saying? I'm like, nothing. You had your brights on, man. I was just letting you know. And he got out and he was shorter than me, whatever. And I didn't want to get into a fight. But anyway, he got out and I said, dude, man, he's like, what are you going to do about it? I was like, nothing, man. I'm just going to go. And I got back in my car. And when I got back in my car, now I got to go to court tomorrow because he hit me over the back of the head. And I didn't fight because I didn't want to. So that's my maturity.
Yeah,
instead of turning around and fighting. So I've learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Don't engage with anybody that you don't know. Everybody can have a bad day. I can have a bad day because I get into arguments at work all the time with stuff. And I just say, you know what? I made it through. And I got to thank Cher for representing the positive side of things because even on the cruise, casino was good to me. Even Atlantis and Bahamas, casino was good to me. And it's all like, and I'm like, she's like, just think positive, it'll be fine. And I'm like, of course. I play craps again. I got a system for that machine. But anyway, I know that I'm going to calm down. I have to calm down because I'm praying for good things because next week we're going to the Savage Race. And I know that I got to calm down because I don't want to be angry and injured and hurt. So I just put out positive vibes to the universe. Everything.
I'm so
Blank
unprepared for the cardio part of this and the leg strengthening part of this.
I think I'm okay with the cardio part, kinda. It's just the rest of it. Like, I'm not Tarzan. I can't do it anymore. And
I'm not fucking Tarzan.
You know who I think would be great at this? I just mentioned his name, Billy. I think Billy would be fantastic at this because he's a maniac and he's probably doing half
Billy
ninja courses
be.
anyway, just for the heck of it.
Yeah, listen, I don't feel fucking. When I think of Billy, I think of what is it? Indigenous? What do you call what we would call American Indians back in the day? But whatever. Like Billy was like the perfect physique and like almost like a picture of like what you would think of when you would think of
Lone Ranger and Tonto,
Indian.
Just without the hair. But he was cut.
So
he was fast as son of a bitch. I could never beat him in a race.
When you saw a picture of him, you would think immediately though, like just what American Indian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where you just go like, and the physique was just like, you could just fucking pluck on the tendons.
Yeah, way back when.
Like,
absolutely.
It was just like weird.
Yeah, it was just he was a fit dude at a very, very young age.
And I also had meat on him. Like when he would jump, you'd see these like big, what do you call these?
Pecs.
Fucking bouncing up and down. You'd be like, oh God. You're like, Billy, Jesus Christ.
Well, Billy
look at you. Oh, no fat.
No fat.
But enough.
No, he was the guy who actually got me into boxing because we would go to an old sporting goods store before Dick's called Herman's. Herman's was in Rockville Center on Sunrise Highway, and we bought boxing gloves. And we just bought, and he took them out of the box in the store, and he punched me. I just said, all right, Billy. And he goes, yeah, man, these are cheap. Let's get them. So he bought a set, and I bought a set. And we went out in the parking lot. We started boxing each other out in the parking lot, outside of the Green Acres Mall.
And that's
This
what
is
you.
Billy.
That's what you did before you had a phone that fucking sucked your life.
Exactly.
Like, what are you gonna
when
do?
you have a phone, you're like, come on,
These
let's
toys,
box.
we can hit each other with these toys. They're designed for this.
And then so he would keep him in his trunk of his car.
Yeah.
Because he was a year older than me, so he had his car before me. So he would keep him in the trunk of his car, and we would box each other whenever he's like, come on, man, let's go. And we would just put the gloves on, and people would be driving by and look at these two maniacs sitting in the street, like on the curb, like right there, and just boxing each other. And there was no like rounds. It's like, okay, that's it. You see these boxers with 3-minute rounds or whatever they do, even UFC, whatever. 3 minutes is forever if somebody's coming at you and they're just punching you. And we had a detached garage at our house, and we actually cleared it out in an area to make like a little square so we couldn't run away from each other. And we were starting to box, and we kind of like tried to start timing ourselves boxing. It was brutal. But I mean, I learned how to get tough. Billy made me tough because he didn't care. He would wrestle. He box. It didn't matter. And he would say, come on, let's jump this. And I do remember the worst part about Billy was he was like the jackass guys before Jackass, because he would like, I think I could jump over that car.
Oh,
and
he didn't
like right
care.
on the street. Like, and he's like, I could drive my car down the street. And I used to try and jump over. I would roll over the hood. I get
He
hurt.
would try to, like, I do
would try to
remember
hurdle
that.
stuff.
He tried to, I want to say I saw him try to jump over a car. Well, like, you know.
While it
all
was
right,
moving.
Yes, meaning like, yeah, you're standing right there. You're gonna do the front flip.
Yeah, Mike's car.
Yeah, he didn't do it though, right?
No,
he
he didn't make it.
Right.
That's why I said
That's-
Jackass.
that's-
He
I
didn't
know.
make it. He got
I know.
clipped by the top windshield
I
in the
saw
mirror and went
that,
rolling
I
over the
think.
side. Oh, he did it many times. I could do it this time because he was fast and he could jump high.
Oh, that's right. He was moving.
It was moving. The car
Yes.
was moving.
No. And he was moving.
Oh, he was
also,
running too.
He was running too. He
He
should
was
have
just
been able
trying
to do it.
We were watching terrible Jackie Chan.
should have
Not
been able
Jackie
to do
Chan.
it.
It was like old Bruce Lee movies and some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And just these stunt guys that did stuff. And we're like, yeah, we could do that. No, we can't. And I always knew moving car, that's the one. That was my line. Moving car hurt too much. That's it. No.
Yeah.
So Billy would always try and jump over it. But we would like jump over park benches and like, I mean, we were insane.
you had
I loved
fun.
Billy.
You
I
had
loved
physical
Billy to
fun.
death. Oh my gosh, he is the greatest guy. I don't know where he is now, but he was one of those guys. And I'll tell you how fast he is. And this is a true story. I'll tell you how fast he is. He was in the World Trade Center when it got hit by the first plane. This is no lie. He was in the building. He ran down the stairs and got out before that building went down. And he was, 4 or 5 floors underneath where the first plane hit. So he was, as far as I know, one of the highest floor survivors that I ever heard about. I mean, he went past the express elevator level where it was full, and he said, "Screw this, I'm going down." The other tower went down while he was in the stairwell, and then when he got out, one of them went out. And when I talked to him, because I called his mom that day, and she's like, "I don't know where he is, And then she called me because cell phone service was out or whatever. She called me back that night and said he called me because he walked over the Brooklyn Bridge to go back to his apartment in Brooklyn because he was in the World Trade Center at the time when the first one fell. And she didn't know, and she called me. She's like, "Thank God, he's okay. He's okay." And when I talked to him, he just said, "Man, that cloud was chasing me, and I was
heard
running
that,
after."
That's
everybody.
what I heard. I heard that he was literally like by the time he got out, because the second
plane,
the
hit
second tower fell though first.
Yes.
So when he got out, I think that's when
The
he
second
literally
tower-
was. It
yeah.
wasn't down yet.
No.
It was coming down. Like he was literally.
He got out. He
Right
said,
at the-
if I'm not mistaken about the story, 'cause
A minute later,
I never
he
asked
would
him
have
about
been
it
able to
again
run
'cause I
away.
would never want him to relive it. I never asked him about it again.
Yeah.
He only talked about it one time, and this was such a long time ago. At this point, I can't believe how long ago it was. But he said, whatever he said, I jumped out of I guess all the glass was shattered in the lobby. When he got downstairs at the bottom of the stairwell, he ran out. And he ran to, I think he told me he ran to Pace University, which I don't know exactly where it is, but he said he kept running. He said, and it just felt like the thing with the cloud. I'm laughing because I can't believe it. It was chasing him. And he was like running over cars. Man, we did a lot of training for that when we were younger because that's what he was doing.
He could
But that's why I
shit.
said he's the fastest son of a bitch ever, thank God. But he made it out. And then I think the story was, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mike told me this. There was the three of us that hung out all the time. And Mike said, yeah, he was in telecommunications, and that's where he worked at the Trade Center. And I think like 6 months later, they transferred him to the second worst place that you could transfer somebody who lives in New York, the Empire State Building. And he said, nah, that's okay. I'm getting out of here. So he moved to Texas from last I heard. So he moved to Texas. But Billy was a wild one. I mean, he's my friend that he used to take me to Yankee games with his family.
I'd like to hear stories and his perspective of what, because I remember him quite a bit.
Yes. And
so I'd love to hear what he remembers, because I know I forgot so
my gosh,
much.
He's going to remember a lot, too.
And he was someone that would be like, oh, I'm pulling out. I can take this scene. And you go, oh, shit, you remember all of that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We had,
like, what the fuck?
Billy and I were in a lot of adventures together for many, many, many years. Many, many years. And he was in my wedding party. It's just, it was a wild thing. I can't believe how do we get to Billy? I don't even know.
I don't know.
That's
anyway,
wild.
Yeah, we got to, okay.
Well, you want to know why? Because we're going up to see Tommy next week and the Savage Race and think about all these other things. And Tommy was present for everything else, too. I have to go start. First of all, I'm going to go puke because I'm nervous, and then I'm going to go start training. I have a whole 3 days. All right. That's it.